We're slapping on new rotors and new pads on this 5th gen 4Runner. Stay tuned. All right, so every now and then you got to bring your vehicle into a mechanic. We work on vehicles all the time, but sometimes you run into things where either you don't have the time, or you don't have the right tools, or something is so rusted that you don't want to get started and then do something that breaks the vehicle, and then now it's stuck. So we're bringing this 5th gen 4Runner, it's a 2016 TRD Pro, into our local mechanic here, and we're going to knock out a brake job. One of my rear rotors is basically seized on, so I attempted to start. Things didn't go as planned, couldn't get it off, and so kind of chucked my losses and decided to bring it in and get this knocked out. This will probably just be a tips and tricks video on replacing brakes, but one of the interesting things I find is these guys knock out so many vehicles per day, and they make everything look so easy, and they do everything so much faster than I can, and even my team can, and it just never ceases to amaze me, like how easy they make things look. So we're gonna knock these brakes out with a little bit of luck. This will be wrapped up, and then this vehicle helps us when we host our events at T4 Experience. When we do Destination Outdoor, it's kind of either a chase vehicle or a lead vehicle on trail rides, things like that. And so trying to get it ready for this kind of event season that we're heading into. So without further ado, let's get started. So this is Keith from my local Firestone Auto Care. Been going to him for a few years now. Just a good guy. They let me shadow him today just to give us a few pointers. So I thought that was pretty cool.
First thing I look for is when I turn the wheel and look at the pads is uneven wear.
Yep.
If the outside pad is wore completely, and say the inside pad isn't, or vice versa, it doesn't always mean the caliper or hose is bad. A lot of the time it's the hardware. It gets rusted up and sticks on here, so people want to...
Somebody might replace that piston, that caliper instead, and
all
it could have just been the hardware.
I see people do it all the time. So
I've probably done it.
yeah, a lot of the times, 7 out of 10 times, I usually see that it's the hardware. This design is not as notorious. The back kind of is more, because where this anti-rattle clip is, underneath that, rust builds up. And the more rust that builds up, the more it pushes down on this hardware onto the pad, so this pad can't slide in and out evenly. So people just assume, it's got a bunch of uneven wear from one side, but you could have this guide pin seized up because people don't lube it. I've seen that before. People just go, caliper immediately. A lot of the times, you can free them up, clean them up, re-lube it. It doesn't need calipers. See, if they move that free, that's good. If you can pull it, usually, that's why I brought this punch. You normally got to punch these out.
Yeah, that was nice. One of the interesting things I saw is I noticed he put the lug on just to stop the disc from moving much, while he puts pressure against it to push back the pistons and release the pads. You're just pushing the piston back, freeing up space.
Yep. So it doesn't hurt this brake line to, bend it back a little bit, but I found a way to just wait till I'm ready for the rotor and do it all bam, bam.
It'll be real hard to take that off.
Yep. You got the better rotor, so we don't have to brake clean these. There's no oil on these.
Is that what makes them better?
Yeah,
Gotcha.
The Duralast Gold. It comes with that rust that you were talking about earlier. This comes with this special black coating, so they'll hardly never rust.
That's cool.
Yep.
Huh.
Yeah. So like I said, leave that right there, and then you can just come right back. It's just kind of
Anti-seize.
yeah, little bit of anti-seize or just brake lube grease. They start getting rusty. Whether you do the brakes next time, you're helping somebody else out or yourself.
Yep. How many brakes you think you've done in your life?
I lost track. Thousands.
Thousands for sure.
Thousands of brake jobs. And that's that one. I still double check everything by hand. Your brake wear indicator, you typically want that. Most cars will be on the inside. This is 4 pistons, so technically it wouldn't matter, but most of your pistons wear. It's on the inside, so it usually applies more pressure. So 9 times out of 10, the inner pad is going to wear faster than the outer because the piston's actually pushing against it. So
that's the difference between one tech and another. And
exactly.
More like a experience and not experienced. And
a lot of the times, I hate to say it, so a lot of times it's not experience, it's care, it's pride.
Yeah, it's attention to detail and
I don't want my brake job coming back.
And caring, yeah.
I do any brake job I do, even if I do it at the house for somebody, I do it the same way I do it at work.
Right.
Once you put this pin on out here, as long as it's good, this is more of a rattle clip. Right. It's not gonna, this one out here is what's important so the pin can't slide out.
Right.
These holes right here,
yeah, what are
those? That's, say you're gonna reuse the rotor and it's rusted on there really bad, you just get the bolt that's the right size for that and thread it in there. And you go back and forth and back and forth, and it'll
presses
pop.
Against the backside.
It presses against the hub, and it'll pop the rotor off.
And that is exactly what we had to do on this rear rotor.
We got back here 17s. Pick the right size the first time.
This is how we pop off that seized rotor. You heard that pop.
Just like that. And just sometimes be careful on the back. If they're really fighting you because of the e-brake shoes, right, you'll pull all that off sometimes with a hammer. Make sure the backing plate's not rubbing. Sounds good and quiet. Rotor's warped in the rear, it's not going to shake in the steering wheel. You're going to feel it in your butt, you know, in the back. You're going to feel it in the seat. If the front rotors are warped, every time you hit the wheel, you're going to feel it in the steering wheel. Yes, it'll shake the steering wheel. If it's only shaking, it feels like in your butt and in the back, and you're getting no shaking in the steering wheel at all. And say somebody just had brakes done, but they just pad slapped it. I'm gonna start with, let's do rear rotors, and I'll retest drive it. If it's all gone, it's all gone. Then if you feel a little bit more, then you know you need front rotors. But yeah, 8 times out of 10, it's usually always the front. But I have seen the rears warp, and you just experience, you feel it in your butt, the wheel's not shaking. But yeah, you're not gonna know unless you test drive something. You're never gonna just be able to look at a rotor and say it's warped. If you do, no.
That's impressive.
Yeah, yeah, you shouldn't be working there.
All right, there you have it, folks. This vehicle's done. Brand new rotors, brand new pads. Really happy with how everything turned out. Keith, man, he's great. He just cruises through things so easy. It astonishes me how much faster these guys are than I am, despite how many vehicles I've worked on in my life. They just do everything so much easier and so much quicker. It's just a testament to, you know, the blue collar guys out there that get the job done and keep this country moving, because these guys are cycling through vehicles every week, and it's honestly amazing how many they do. So, you know, big thanks to Keith, big thanks to Firesign Auto Care. I've never really had a bad experience with them. Every location is going to have mechanics that have different levels of experience. So, you know, it wouldn't hurt to ask the guy that's working on your vehicle how long he's been doing this, and ask him a few questions, especially if you're bringing something technical in. If it's just oil changes, most of these guys can do anything. So, but yeah, every time, you know, I've taken it there, I've had a pretty good experience. So, but once you find a mechanic wherever you take your vehicle to, and he's reliable, then you found gold, because that's just becoming harder and harder to find. So, yeah, you know, reward them and take your vehicle back to them as often as you can, especially when you get stumped on things. So, but without further ado, that wraps up this video. We're going to take this vehicle to some of the events that we host. It usually runs, you know, a lead truck or a chase truck, or it kind of has our media gear and all our camera gear and stuff. We host T4R Experience and Destination Outdoor, so you can catch those as well. And yeah, thanks for watching.